Gay Milwaukee, and today we have my favorite people in the gay community. We have actor, rising star in the drag community, and space cat, Birdee.
Yeah.
How are you doing today?
We're here, we're good. We've got the geesh. We spent all day just chilling watching Netflix. So pretty relaxed. It's refreshing.
I have to say, before we really get into this interview, I just want to thank you because you have been, and I'm not finding the best words to say this, but unapologetically gay, and I love that because, I don't know if you remember, but one time we were at Joann's Fabrics and you just had your little crop top on, and I love that about you. You go biking even in drag, and you have a great hone on your feminine nature, and the reason I say this is because for me, I see that and I realize that I tone myself down, and I don't even know I'm doing it sometimes. And then when I see you, I'm like, oh God, I really am dimming my light, and I've gotten so accustomed to that. And when I see you, I'm like, I don't have to do that. Where does that come from? You do it too.
I'll do that too, here and there. It takes a lot of mental energy to be like, nope, I'm gonna wear this. I'm gonna wear this because I feel like that's what I need to wear, and that's what I want to wear. And if you've got a problem with it, that's your problem. This is what I'm comfortable wearing, so I'm gonna wear it. I think something that helps with me having that mindset is my parents never really asked me to define myself. They were never really like, this is what you're gonna do. This is what you have to do. This is who you are. This is what you're gonna do. Like when they put me through soccer in elementary school, they were like, here you go, do this, get your energy out. And I just kind of sat in the field and pulled at the grass. Or like, my grandmother always kind of pushed me towards music. And it just kind of clicked and it made sense. So I've stuck with music for 10, 15, how many years now? 15 years, yeah, in some sort of capacity as a musician.
And you've been really tackling the arts when it comes to drag and theater, and it seems like every time I see you, you're always finding an outlet for expression.
Something. I've always kind of looked for like the ultimate art form. I don't know why I think of it like that, but it's kind of why I started gravitating towards theater. It combines makeup, 2D art, 3D art with sculpture, like set building, construction, live performance, music, acting, dancing, singing, wig styling, which is a form of sculpture in itself, makeup, which is painting, like set dressing, lighting, which is another like world on its own. Theater is like a microcosm, and it's an ultimate form of art, which is kind of why I've taken to theater drag as the theater queen of Milwaukee, because like it's taking that and it's applying it to identity and gender, which is even more so something that's really hard to fabricate. But at the same time, it's a letting go, I think, of I have to be this way, I have to be that way. It's letting that go and saying, I'm gonna try this today. I'm gonna do that.
On that note too, why do you feel that a lot of us in the queer community, we feel so drawn to the arts and the theaters and those type of ways to express ourselves? There has to be a connection between that. What are your thoughts on it?
I think, kind of coming back to like how my parents never asked me to define myself.
I'm very lucky for that too.
Very appreciative of that. Thanks, Randy dear. I think most of us who are somewhere in the LGBT community have had some period of time where we did feel I have to be this way, I have to be that way to make my family happy, to make other people happy, because they have this expectation that I'm going to do this and this and that. So it's almost more self-inflicted that you have to be such and such a way, when it's self-inflicted, and it's totally up to you to recognize, you know what, I don't want to do that. I don't want to do that. Nobody is requiring me to do that. I think that's part of why coming out is such a powerful moment. It's kind of reclaiming that this is who I am, this is how I want to express myself. This is a detail about myself that I want to let into the world, be it however it is, come at it how you will. Does that make sense?
It does, it makes sense. I think so much of us as queer people, we manage other people around us as feelings. I have to manage mom and dad. I have to manage my friends. I have to manage, siblings or other family members or coworkers. And a lot of the times we forget to manage ourselves and how we're feeling in the hurricane of that. So while expression happens, it comes off in the way that maybe we forgot to manage ourselves and we just want to express and release. And I think that's why in theater it's so powerful.
Oh yeah.
And which is also, drag is a form of theater.
Oh yeah.
And it kind of extensions off into that. I think in arts, a lot of, gay artists in all the many facets and different dimensions they all come in. It all ties together. And I think the community being a part of that is also a form of an expression too. And it takes on so many different forms. I think those are my thoughts on it, but
saying something that you otherwise wouldn't really have the opportunity to, in some capacity.
Exactly, and very much a release. I think that's what it comes down to, releasing. I think a lot of us in the queer community have a lot of things inside of that we suppress, don't get to show, and that need to come out, for better or for worse. And you work at D.I.X.
I do.
You see everybody.
Pretty much. Very wide range of people.
But I have to say, what I love about you guys there is that Milwaukee's known for being somewhat segregated, but you have everybody there.
Oh, yeah. A little bit of everybody.
And a lot of the shows you're in, and a lot of the groups, even with the Space Cats, you're always surrounded by a very diverse set of people, always.
Yes.
Tell me about this.
Life is a variety show, honestly. I see a lot in the Milwaukee scene. It's usually among older members of the community. And this is my rationalization of it, they've fought so long to have the acceptance that they have now, that the small group that they have are the only people that really understand where they come from, what's going on, that they're almost not like afraid, but they're reluctant to have some sort of friendly connection to someone outside of that small group.
Because no one understands them the way the people in that small group understand them, maybe?
Kind of, yes. In that they didn't move through certain events together. So like, the people in that group move together with each other, and they've got that bond of trust. And either because there's been such pushback from people outside of that group, either from family, from society, whoever it was, that they came together in such a way that they feel they're the only ones that understand each other.
Do you ever feel this way? Has this ever happened in the drag community?
I think so. I think I tend to see this a lot with pageant queens versus club queens. Pageant queens tend to be very, this is how you do it, this is how it's done, this is how it's always been done, this is how it needs to continue. And it's, I think with RuPaul's Drag Race, we'll go there, it's gotten easier because they're highlighting more club style queens. Like Aquaria is very fashion, Sasha Velour is very fashion. While fashion is different from club, they're still connected. With Milk on her original season, she was very much more a club kid. Trixie's style of drag was very much not accepted in Milwaukee.
Really?
And she's very vocal on this, that a lot of the queens that were doing bookings, a lot of the managers that were doing bookings when Trixie was still like getting started, when she was finding her harsh lines and crazy clown aesthetic.
It's like iconic to her.
It's very iconic. It's excellent branding. But because it wasn't realistic or feminine or pageantry style, it wasn't accepted.
That's interesting because,
Yeah.
like every type of group, we're very multidimensional, and for us to have to be and act one certain way, it's kind of like also parallel to the gays, how you and I both run into this problem where they call us too feminine.
Yeah.
We run into that, and it's weird because I feel like you and I, what we have in common is we're always pushing boundaries. And when you get that too feminine thing, especially from your own people, it's like,
why does that matter to you? Why are you going to point that out as a problem when we're all gay? Like, we're all homosexual in some way, shape, or form. Some are bisexual, some are polyamorous. Like, we're all just people. Why are you going to let one detail turn me off from you when that one detail that's the same between you and me turned us off from the mainstream, from straight society for pretty much most of human history? Like, what's going on? That's a little hypocritical.
yeah, I mean, you can go on Grindr right now and find no femmes.
No mask for mask, no femmes, no fats, no Asians, no blacks.
Like,
Dude,
like, are we less than or something? And
we're the greatest, we're the best. Frankly, we're the biggest, we're the best. Gotta keep it in the circle.
so as a queen, tell me, how does that come up to you? What do you see from your end?
In my experiences, queens tend to be either fetishized or ostracized when it comes to like Grindr. Ginger Minge, bringing it back to Drag Race Queens, I think her story was very much the man that she married. Her husband is very much like, I don't care who all these other drag queens are. I'm interested in you as a person. I think Tempest Heat, in a previous interview, I think she mentioned this as well, that they love me for me, not because of my connections. And especially with RuPaul's Drag Race becoming the big sensation that it is, and all the offsets like Dragula, Camp Kiki, it's kind of glamorized drag and almost fetishized it. But drag is different from like fetishism of cross-dressing. Like how some people just like to wear tights when they have sex. Some people like to wear male bras or female boxers. Like,
Do you feel people kind of get you confused or kind of misunderstand what you're about in that context?
yeah,
Yeah,
it's
even from our own people.
it brings up again the drag is not transgender life. Drag is not usually a transsexualism. There are drag performers that do feel that they are transgender. Great example is Lady Gia.
Yes, love her.
So much. Gia was born male and has transitioned to female, and that's her truth. And she still performs female drag. There are queens like in Chicago, Kat Sass, Lucky Stiff. They were born female and they present female, and that's just the truth. It's not a sexual thing, it's a performance thing, and it's really easy for the mainstream to forget that, and to overlook it and lump it in with sexual fantasy, and that's just not true.
I have to say, because you and I are friends, and I've heard about some of your ups and downs, and unfortunately we don't have a lot of time to cover everything, but I do want to ask you, what makes you keep going? What makes it all worthwhile?
My name is Miss Birdee, and I got something to say. It's a platform no matter how big it is, no matter how small it is, drag as a performance art is a platform. And I tend to pull out political characters a lot. Like I've done Hillary Clinton, Melania Trump, I've done Betsy DeVos. I'm kind of like Kate McKinnon, kind of.
A little SNL-ish too.
Yeah, I'm not afraid to say something if I see something that I'm like, hey, that's not cool. Or like, hey, there's some kind of joke there. But what can be said about that? Like, how does that apply to the rest of us? Finding some sort of core truth and putting it into a performance. Those are my favorite kind of performances. And making a connection with people.
Yeah.
Showing a different side of myself that may be relatable. It may turn people off, and they're like, "Whoa, none of that!" And I'm like,
"Well, that's once again, we push the boundaries. That's
exactly."
And I think Queens definitely set the tone and just make it. They push the boundaries. That's part of what comes with the territory. And I have to say, we talked about this earlier. I'm really proud of what you do because even at the age 28, and I think I got my life and sexuality all figured out, there's always someone like you that comes in the picture and reminds me, hey, I don't know if you forgot over the years, but you're toning it down. You have more of a light to shine, and that really helps. It's not always easy being gay in Milwaukee or queer. And
I'll be 22 in a couple weeks, and I'm like, is this really who I am? Yeah, feels right.
But let me tell you, at the age 22, I think you're ahead of me because I believe I didn't even have I feel now I have my sexuality figured out, but 22, oh my God, I was still like insecure with how I looked and how, still figuring out sex and the dating scene and just identity. I think you have much figured out than a lot of us at that age, so take pride in that.
I still don't have it figured out.
I don't think none of us do.
No.
Okay, well, we're gonna wrap this up with the question bowl. You are getting
This fun. Oh Lord, if you could meet one person, who would it be? Oh, good gravy. I think for some reason my gut is telling me Harvey Milk.
Really?
I don't know why. Like, Einstein flipped through my head, Hawking flipped through my head, but I think Harvey Milk.
Well, that's a big one. Wow, I'm impressed. Okay, we have to wrap this up. Come back anytime.
Now!
Anytime.
I'll take that.
Can we get a round of applause for Birdee? Okay. Like, subscribe, share. We're signing out from Gay Milwaukee. Stay gay. Next time on Gay Milwaukee.
Me and my girlfriend were literally like horror movie style, almost axe murdered and drugged to a lake, and we got the piss beat out of us. And yeah, we like almost died, like legit died. And they like burned all of our stuff, and like, we were pretty beat up. And I remember hiding in some tall grass, and they were like searching for us. And this was like in a campground, like really deep woods campground thing. And I remember like pounding on a trailer, like saying, "Call the cops, please,"